Hello, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown into. If you are new, welcome. Today is a WIP parade. I am so happy that you press play, and I hope you like what you see. This is an introduction to all of my projects, and I film on Fridays. And if you're a returning stitching friend and you are here, thank you so much for coming to watch this little bit of a marathon video so that we can talk about all of my WIPs through 2024. That's the caveat there. Real quick, since a lot of people just click on WIP parades, my name is Laura, and I live in Delaware. My husband and I, Mo, who I talk about in my regular videos quite a bit, we moved down here full-time in 2022. Before that, we lived in Connecticut for our entire lives, and I'm 55, so you can see over 50 years I was up a New Englander. I have two children. My oldest is out of college for the moment, maybe going back for some graduate work, and lives in Pennsylvania, and my youngest is a senior in college in Massachusetts right now. You can see right here, we have my little Shamrock, who we lost in 2022, but I love this picture. It's out at all times. And I thought, let's have little Shammy with us today when I film. Other than that, I paper craft, I scrapbook, and I do a little bit of an unusual sort of finishing. I scrapbook quite a lot of my full finishes. Not all of them, as you can see, but there's a lot there. So if you're interested in that, I have playlists, and hopefully this year we can get some good inspiration and I can do some more full finishing scrapbooking. So I think that's about it. I did start 30 years ago stitching, stopped, had children, was heavily into scrapbooking and paper crafting. I had an Etsy shop. I sold cards. I did all sorts of paper crafts. And then in 2019, for some reason, I decided to start back stitching the second half of 2019, and it has just become my #1 craft since then. And I love each and every day that I get to stitch, and I love sharing it with all of you. So let's get started. I have 10 pages of notes. If you don't know me, I am not a digital, spreadsheets kind of person. I am a write them on the paper sort of person. And the more colors, the better. So when they have those, 20 sharp color Sharpie packages, I'm the first one to buy them, and I love doing my notes like this. So I will be looking down at my notes to get my information for that. I have my projects separated by year of when I started them, the oldest one being 2020. So that's December 2020. So we are almost out of 2020 projects. And then we'll just keep going all the way up to the end of 2024. And I'll do a brief talk about 2025 at the very end of the video. I am going to talk about the project. I will say what fabric it's on and who it's by, but I won't get into a lot of details about the project. That's what my regular videos are for. So this is just an introduction for you to see all the projects. And if you like what you see, then you can join me on a weekly basis or bi-weekly or whatever you want to do, but I film weekly. And I am also going to, last year for the first time, I gave myself kind of little mini goals. And if you're new, goals to me are suggestions. So these are things that maybe I can get to by the end of the year. If I don't stress about it. I've given myself permission to enjoy each and every part of this hobby, whether that means 100 starts in a year, 0 finishes, or vice versa. Having things on the go and taking out bits and pieces, you name it. I've just given myself permission to just love it all. And what comes, comes. And then I've also set goals for this year. And so we'll talk about some of those. There'll be a few projects that I'm going to say that for 2025 are going to be put to the side. And it's mostly full coverage because I have probably about 15 or so full coverage pieces. So I'd like to maybe take that down to between 10 to 12. And I know that's not much, but it's something. And then kind of give them a little bit more love this year. And that may happen with some of my regular projects as well, but I haven't really thought about that. Every other project, I did give it a goal. And if it looks like that's just not going to happen this year, that's okay. I'm all right with that. So I am sitting here surrounded by piles and piles and piles of projects. And we will see. It's going to be a mess when it's all done. I can see that now. I mostly have Ziploc bags that I put my projects in. And then I have some project bags, the fancy ones, through Kindness and Stitchy Kindness and such. So I will be putting things back in just so that everything doesn't get to be a complete and utter mess here. But that should be really quick and just easy to put it in, put it down, and move on to the next one. So let's get started. I have one project from 2020. Now, if it's a digital piece, I will show you the piece on my iPad. Again, remember, non-digital. I'm not throwing in pictures. I don't really know how to do it, and I would rather stitch than take the time to learn how to. But two, if I throw it up and then it's gone, if I want to talk about it again, this is usually more in my regular projects or my regular videos, I can't show it again. Versus if I'm talking about something, I can show it again to you because it's right here on my iPad. I make little albums and I do pictures and we're good to go. So my oldest project, which was started in December of 2020, is Christmas Town, and that is from Stitchrovia. And here we go. So I'm looking at a couple of places just so I can get things like goals and if I've forgotten fabrics and things like that. This one's easy. This is 18 count and 99%. There's one project that's on 20 count. Everything else I believe is 18. Oh, there's 116 in a kit. So if I forget, they're all 18 count. I love, love, love 18 count. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, as we go, we'll see. So 18 count white Aida opal. So if you can see the sparkle there, I love it. This took a little hit working on this until I discovered how to put my digital patterns in devices to be able to stitch on them faster. So this one has come along nicely. My goal in 2024 was to get it halfway done. So I think that's pretty good. I'm not stitching around here, so don't count that part. I have to go back. There might be some, like there's a little snowman here and stuff, but the pathway I'm going to leave open. So I'm more than halfway done. My goal here for 2025, I'm putting it a lofty goal because look at those color changes. There is no block stitching in this at all. My goal is a lofty goal of a finish. So we'll see what happens. All right. Now, these goals, like I said, I have quite a bit of them that I am giving myself a goal of a finish. And I'm not going to worry if they get finished or not. If they're there next year, 2 years, 3 years from now, that's fine. It's no biggie. I went into this with the idea that individually this is a goal, but I have a lot of projects and I won't stop starting. So we just roll with it. All right, second, we're going into 2021. This was started in May of 2021, and this is Samhain in Salem, and it is from Hemlock and Rye Stitchery. And my goal in 2024 was to finish the second house, the middle house. I didn't quite do it. And I don't know why. This one is actually pretty easy to stitch, even though I do it as paper. I made a working copy and I mark it off as I go. My houses are closer because I didn't cut a big enough piece. Clearly I triple check usually when I cut, but for whatever reason, I didn't. This is 18 count Old Library Marble from Dove Stitch, and Dove Stitch is a printed fabric. It's fabric flare, I believe. And I'm not going to put any words at the bottom. I'm just going to do the fence all the way across. So my goal for 2025, I mean, it's implied now that I have to finish this and try to get half of the third house done. Honestly, I'll be happy with finishing the second and getting maybe a third of that instead of half of the house. So we'll see. It's doable. It's possible. I've never done this before, but on the 13th of every month, kind of that dark 13, I'm going to pull out Halloween projects. Now I have a lot, so I'll try to do maybe 2 or 3 on that day. I'm not going to assign any on any given day. And we'll see. And then on the 25th, the 23rd, which is my birthday, that's my birth date, I'm going to pull out all of my pumpkin pieces. And then on the 25th, I will pull out The 23rd's a little, that's a maybe. I'm not sure I'm going to do that. But on the 25th, I'll pull out Christmas pieces. That way, hopefully, Halloween and Christmas pieces at the very least. My pumpkin pieces, maybe, maybe not. Okay, August of 2021, I started Earth Laughs from Jan Hicks Creates. And I did use the called for Cosmo. I almost never use the called for fabric, as you will come to see very quickly. This is 20 count. I wanted to make this one less than 12 by 12. This will go in the scrapbook. So I needed to go try 20 count, which is the first time, one strand. And you can see I am getting there. My 2024 goal was to complete the border and the words. And at the time, I didn't have that done and this and this. So I'm pretty proud of where this ended up. If you've been with me, you know I've had struggles with this one. And so at this point, and there's a mistake here. So there's some recharting that I'll have to do, but I have to finish this and then some butterflies. And so my 2025 goal is a finish on this. And I think that one's completely doable. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Alrighty. I have one more from 2020. Oh, there we go. 2021. I knew there was a paper. This was a paper chart, so I was surprised I didn't see it. I just forgot to take it out of the bag. All right, this one is Prairie Schooler, and it's called Christmas Eve, and I'm doing the big piece. This was started in December, and my 2024 goal was at least the reindeer to be done and the upper border. Well, I did that, except for one of my guys needs his leg, one of my reindeer, and they might have eyes stitched on them. I don't know. I haven't looked. But not only did I finish the top border and almost all the reindeer, but I came around on this side. The borders are easy. I am changing it in the sense of I'm not putting words here. So this will all be snow. So my goal on this one, I'm going to fold this a little bit down for a minute so that I can show you a little closer. So my goal is to get the entire village done, obviously for a finish, and then I'll do that probably first, and then this is all just stitching, like white stitching, perfect for zooms or if I'm watching something that I need to pay attention to a little bit more. We just keep pulling out white strands. This is 18 count chinchilla, and it is from Mystic Fabrics. Isn't that pretty? I had seen somebody stitch this, or I'd seen a picture of somebody stitching it on gray, and I absolutely loved it because I wasn't sure what fabric I wanted. And so as soon as I saw that, I was on the hunt, and I like this one a lot. So that is my 2021. So 4 so far for 2020 and 2021 that I have left. So we're getting there. And of those, 2, maybe 3 are slated for a finish next year. So that would be fantastic. That takes us into 2022 and the first of my full coverages. I wasn't sure about full coverage when I first started back. Well, I didn't know about it. And then when I did know about it, I wasn't 100% sure about it. And now I've just jumped in. There are 2 full coverages that I had started. One of them before this, one may have been before or after, that are in the inactive pile. You know, when you first start something new, which full coverage is kind of different than regular, you don't know what you're looking for. So I'm not saying I'll never go back to them, but for now they are put aside. Alrighty, this one right here is Hidden Harbor. The artwork is by Andy Russell, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I love all those colors. Now, going into 2024, I did not have Pattern Keeper. So I was doing all of my full coverages with paper and just marking off as I went. So my 2024 goals are pretty modest because it takes a lot longer to do it that way. Since I've gotten Pattern Keeper, I have been able to stitch a lot more on my full coverages as well as other pieces. And I just love it. So this is where this one is. So let me just show you. This is 18 count white Aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. And that's what all of my full coverages are. I have not at some point. I'd like to try 20 and 22 or 25. And then I'll play around obviously with 1 strand. I think I like the idea of full crosses still. I'm afraid I pull. I'm a heavy puller when it comes to my stitching. So I'm a little afraid that if I do just the 10 stitch, the half stitch, I may warp because I stitch everything in hand. So that's where it is right here. So in 2024, my goal was 1,500 stitches. I, in fact, did 2,196. So my goal is 3,000 stitches on Hidden Harbor this year. I think that's doable. This one's so beautiful. I love the colors. I don't know full coverages. I'm going to put over here. Alrighty, next. I have full coverages on one table and then my other stuff on other tables in piles. So I have to look in each direction. Alrighty, here we go. This next one. So Hidden Harbor was January of 2022. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a new year, new start that year. I didn't look at the book to make sure, but I think it might have. This one was started in March. This was actually a restart. I had started stitching this in 2019 and I didn't like what I had chosen or how I was doing it. And so I restarted it. And I had gotten about halfway, so that's commitment, I think. This is Mick Christmas, and it is from Cariad, C-A-R-I-A-D, Cross Stitch Designs. They are found on Facebook only, I believe. So this one also went really slow for the longest time, and then this year I was able to put it in Pattern Keeper. He hasn't gotten a lot. His goal for 2024 was to try to get the beard done. Well, you can see I failed at that because there's a ton of colors and I just, with the paper, was not feeling it. So, having said that, my 2025 goal will be the beard and or 3/4 done. So we'll see. It's tough to tell, but this is a very pale purple. It's called Lotus and it's 18 count and it's from Be Stitch Me. So that's where he is right now, Mr. McChristmas. We'll see. Does he have, oh, you know what? No, he doesn't have a bag because he had a lot of flosses, so I didn't bother. Next one. Alrighty. Then I went on a kind of a run of full coverage starts. I want to say around May of that year, 2022, I did a lot of kind of full coveragey because I wanted to start all of them, right? So this one is Mini Paris Morning. And it is artwork by Uliana Babenko, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And if you look at my little shamrock there, you can see why I loved it. And I loved the colors. I love bright, colorful pieces. Not to say I don't do some non-colorful pieces, but I really do love huge just splashes of color as well. So you'll see a lot of that. So I want to show you, I do have all the way down to the bottom here, but in general, most of what I have stitched is the top. So that's most of what I have. In 2024, I had given myself a goal of 2,000 stitches, and I was able to get 7,880. So my goal for 2025, I'm actually taking a step back and saying 5,000 on this. There's a few other pieces that I have bigger goals for number of stitches. So I'm going to go 5,000. If I give this a 1 month where I do 100 stitches a day, then that alone will get me quite close to that 5,000. Because sometimes, you know, it's like 120 by the time the strand's gone. So it's easy to get more than just the 3,000. All right, page 1 done. Now, page 2 here. We have a run of full coverages. This next one here, and they were all minis because I did mini full coverages and mini little pieces that May. This one is mini, what is this, Sunflower Cottage. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and it is artwork by Donna Gelsinger. And it, I mean, could you get more colorful? There are other people stitching this. I don't know if I'll be able to put any links on below because I'd like to do the projects, but I may not. If I can't, if you have questions on anything, you didn't understand what I was saying, feel free to ask. I do know Leanne from Small Town Stitches is stitching this. I don't know if Leanne is doing the mini or the regular size though. So that's where I am. This is probably one of my farthest along. This and one other that you'll see in a minute. But you know, there's still a ways to go. I didn't put percentages. I do obviously have the percentages on Pattern Keeper, but I didn't pull all of that out. I keep little library cards and I notes. And so what I did on all my full coverages. And so what I did was I added up what I had stitched, because every time I do a rotation of it, so to speak, I put the information in the stitches for that rotation. And so I just went through and added that up. That's why I have those numbers, but not the percentages. My goal for 2024 was 2,000 stitches. I ended up getting 5,553. So I've decided to give myself a goal of 6,000. Since this one is indeed farther along, let's keep plugging away on it. Okay, so that will continue to come out next year. This next one is the first one that I believe will take a little bit of a break next year. Whoops, I have no idea what I just did. I just took the picture and it's somewhere else. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're rolling with it. This next one is Mini Peridot. It is charted by Heaven and Earth. Oops, there you see in the window. Heaven and Earth Designs, and the artwork is by Rachel Anderson. And I absolutely love it. I am not sure. I'm curious to see when I get to here. The colors are definitely more muted in person than they are in real life. I'm hoping that it will get a little bit brighter when I get to her. So let me show you where I am. That's it. This one was particularly hard in working copy wise, because this has a ton of confetti. And so this one definitely did not get as much work when I was working without Pattern Keeper. So my goal was 1,500 stitches in 2024, and I ended up with 3,527. But this one is going to be put on vacation this year, and I will put it aside. Now, that's not to say if any of these I get a real, calling to stitch on it. I mean, they're only going to be in their bag with the other ones. I am going to take out their flosses though, so that they can go back in my master stuff here. But that's easy enough to pull what I need to work on at any given time. So it's not like they're going away forever. They're just taking a vacation in 2025. And then depending on where I am at the end and next year's WIP parade, I will decide if I want to continue with the ones depending on where they are or rotate some in and out. So we'll see. That's all subject to next year's video. Okay, there we go. Next. Here. I have no idea. We're just rolling with whatever I did here. This next one is Minnie Watching the World Go By. Artwork is by Lucy Pitaway, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, but it is retired. This, in fact, is actually a diamond painting picture, because that's all I could find after it retired. I had not realized that Lucy Pitaway was retiring all of hers through Heaven and Earth. I would have bought a few more if I'd known. So I didn't catch a good picture of it before it left. Lucy Pitaway is now in kits with Bothy threads if you're looking for her. And this is also one of my farthest full coverages. I really enjoy stitching on this one quite a bit. There is a good mix of confetti and block. So, and by block, I mean you can travel with your floss. So there are spaces, but you can go with a strand of floss and take it places. My goal last year was 2,000 stitches, and I ended up getting 9,392. So my goal for 2025 is 10,000 stitches. And this one most definitely will be a focus 1 month, as well as, besides the pieces being focuses for 1 month, there will also be other ones that come out and get maybe like 1,000 stitch rotations, however many days that happens to take me. So I think that's how I did that last year. Sometimes I did a week, sometimes I did 1,000 stitches. It'll be fluid however I want to work it, but that's about what I want to do. Plus I really like having one that I work on every day. All right, next, we're back to some regular projects here. Okay, so this next one is a set of 3, and I'm only doing obviously one of the 3 at the moment. These are, I'm calling the one I'm doing November Gnome. So I'm going to call them Autumn Gnomes. I'm not really sure what the official name is. It has an Etsy title. We all know Etsy titles. They are silly, which I had an Etsy shop. I understand why they're silly, because if you want anybody to see your stuff, they have to be silly sometimes. So this is the one I am working on. I am not doing the background, and I'm not doing the grounding circle. Other than that, I am doing it as charted. Of my gnomes, now this is from Wonder Stitch UA. It used to be Wonderland Ukraine, which still has an Etsy shop, but they also opened up another one, Wonder Stitch UA, and all of this design artwork gnomes are in that shop. This is the farthest one of my Wonder Stitch UA gnomes. I do have one that I finished last year, I think it was. But so this is the farthest one along. What's my goal on this one? In 2024, my goal was to, which gnome am I looking at? Oh, November gnome. I have a winter one coming up. I saw the word gnome and it distracted me. I wanted the entire left side done. Now, at the time, I didn't have some of the hat in this. Clearly, I didn't get that. I did some of it, but I kind of stalled here. So, having said that, my goal for 2025 is to have everything but the bottom right, which is a giant pumpkin. And I don't know if you can see, they chart everything in DMC, and they do a phenomenal job so that you really have a sense that hat, it really looks like those folds are moving of the hat. And the flower pops out. But that means there are several colors, so that pumpkin will have quite a bit to it. And so I need to get this done. These colors are a bit more boring to me, the whites, the ecrus, the tans. So I need to focus on that. This is 18 count buttercream from To Die For Fabrics. And To Die For Fabrics is no longer dyeing fabric, but I do like to say where it's from, because you never know if you can get something from a destash site or eBay or things like that. So I do like to say where they're from. So that's that one. So let's get all of this done. For the most part, this part is, that's their body. That's pretty much done. There's just beard all here. And then 2026, we'll work on a pumpkin. So we'll see. We will see where we go on that. I don't think I have those put in the digital device. I think I do them just working copies of paper, which does go slower. I'll have to see if they go into Pattern Keeper. Okay, next. This one is a paper copy. This one is Turkey Day, and it is from Cottage Garden Samplings. And I am struggling with this. I'm having trouble reading the pattern. I do make a working copy. Now they are color, so my printer doesn't necessarily print it as well. I did try to take pictures and put it on devices. It didn't work. So I'm just rolling with it. My goal in 2024, I wanted to have the turkey finished. As you can see, I did not get that done, but I didn't have any of this done, any of this and some of that. So I'm really pleased. Once I kind of figured out the best way to work on this, I'm doing pretty good. This will all be fill-in once I have those outer edges. So I think that'll go really fast. What I'm trying to do is do that so that they'll be fill-in. And when I get tired of trying to read the symbols there, that's when I pop to other sections. So my goal for 2025, I'm going to try it again, is to finish the turkey. At that point, there'll be just a whole bunch of leaves down here, similar to up here, and that will be easy. So that would be good 2026 stitching. This is an 18 count buttercream, again, from To Die For Fabrics. And I absolutely love it. I am using all of the DMC choices, although every once in a while I do change them around. So you'd have to pay attention from week to week when I show those. I always talk about, or I try to put in the description box what I've changed. If I'm able to get all of my projects in the description box, it's only going to be designer and fabric. I won't put the flosses and everything. So again, if you miss something and you want to know, Just ask. Alrighty, next we go back to full coverage again, and we are still in 2022, but now we're up to November. And this, there we go. This next, oh my goodness. I have no idea. They keep flipping things. This one is Mini 1, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and the artwork is by Zindy Nielsen. And I live by the beach. I live in a beach town here in Delaware. So obviously I like all things beachy, and I'm stitching by the shore, by the way, you know, so of course. And so I really love this one, and I really like to have something that's not all of the colors of the spectrum, but something a little bit more subtle. And so this one really appealed to me. Let me show you where I am. So not very far. When I was working with it with paper, there are multiple colors here to get this background. There's 2 or 3, and I struggled a bit with the symbols and things like that. So it did go slow. My goal in 2024 was 1,500 stitches, and I ended up putting in 2,658. I am going to put this one on vacation this year. I think when I'm ready to really focus on it and it's in Pattern Keeper, I think it'll go a little bit better. But, you know, sometimes when these colors are very similar, it's difficult on the eyes. So I have to be really in the mood and ready to stitch on this. So we will put this one away. It's going on a beach vacation, and it will come out again maybe in 2026, maybe beyond. We will see. Okay, so that's Mini 1. Next one right here. This next one is Christmas Deer, and this is, oh gosh, The Stitchery by MJ. They're on Etsy. So that's what it looks like. And this one was started in December of 2022. So this is the last of my 2022 stitches. And there we go. That's where this one is. Again, same 18 count. I had not put this one in Pattern Keeper as early as some of the other ones, but it did end up going in, so that's good. My goal in 2024 was 1,500 stitches. And after getting it in Pattern Keeper, I was able to get 2,711, but it is going to be put away for this year. I have another smaller one. This one is obviously narrow, but it is very long. And I am just not ready to tackle that this year, I think, unless I, again, feel a grand desire to. So it's not going very far, but it is going on vacation. Alrighty, so that is through 2022. That is 14 projects up to that point. So for those 3 years, not a lot, although there are quite a few full coverages. That's when I did a heavy amount of full coverage starting. So a lot of those may be around for some time. It'll be 2030, and I'll probably have those full coverages still showing you in a WIP parade. The first part of the WIP parade will be all full coverage, and then it'll go over because everything else will be finished at that point. Alrighty, next. This one here, another one of the gnome sets. This is the one I thought I was looking at before. Oh, you're getting all sorts of, for some reason it's made them smaller, and I'm not sure really why. So which one am I doing? I'm doing this one. Again, Wonder Stitch UA. And of the 3, this is the one I am stitching. Not stitching the background or the grounding circle again. I have purposely chosen fabrics that will, I think, look nice as backgrounds, so I didn't feel like I needed to do that. And here it is. This one is 18 count Opal Hourglass Nebula from Fortnite Fabrics. That is a second company that is no longer hand dyeing. Everything else besides those 2 companies are still hand dyeing as far as I know. So I don't know if you can see the sparkle, but I did choose the Opal because I thought it would be a lot of fun winter piece. My goal for 2024 was to be done so that I'd only have the There's the big giant snowflake. Let me show you that. The big giant snowflake and the feet left. As you can see clearly, I did not get to that. I'm generally not a seasonal stitcher, but for some reason with these gnomes, I find myself pulling them out in their season and only in their season, which obviously means it's a short window that they get stitching. This one here, my goal in 2025, I think would be to get it 3/4 done, whatever that looks like. I think that's a lofty-ish goal given how slow I am on these. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm coming at you next year and I haven't quite gotten that goal, but that's okay. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. Alrighty, let's put that one back. Moving on. So that was 2023 and, oh yeah, January. That was a January start. Next page. Full coverage. I feel like I'm going fast, but then I also look at how many I still have left to do. So maybe I'm not going fast. This one is, I have no idea how this happened, why we only have half a page now, but we're rolling with it. This one is called Mini Until the End. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and the artwork is by Rose Kahn. Now, Rose Kahn has been retired at Heaven and Earth Designs, but her artwork can be found elsewhere. And I think she might be in a few places elsewhere, so you'd have to look. And I don't know if all of her art has since been recharted. Nothing yet dragon-wise. Just lots of blue. I almost am at the end here, though, so that's exciting. I'm almost at the bottom. And then I can start really coming in and working on the dragons. If you are new to me, I am a fan of stitching dragons, and you will see this month right here is Dragon Month for me, actually, as we wrap up the year of the dragon. And I do talk quite a bit about some dragon stitches, at least this month, probably going forward as well. So that's where it is. What was last year's goal? The goal was 3,000 stitches, and I was able to get 4,682. And the goal for next year is 5,000 stitches. I think it's doable. Again, especially I believe I'll make that. This is coming out for the last 2 weeks of January, along with one that is the monthly focus that will stay a monthly focus. So it will get its rotation soon. And then at some point, I'd like to make it a monthly focus. So if I do that, then it most definitely probably should get 5,000 stitches, because it's only January and we should have plenty of time to get more done. Alrighty, next. This one here is the Haunted Library. It was a stitch along, mystery stitch along a couple years ago, but I did not start it until I had seen the whole thing. And this is from Lola Crow. I don't know if there's a current one either planned, because I don't think there's any ongoing at the moment. So I'm not sure if there's one planned. That's where it is. I decided to go quite out there with the fabric, because in the end, you're not going to see anything but the stuff. There'll be a little bit here and there inside, which I think will look neat. But for the most part, it's only around the outer borders. And this will be scrapbooked, so it will get cut a little tighter border-wise. This is 18 count Imagine from Mystic Fabrics. And my goal in 2024 was to get the library shelves done. I did not do that, obviously, but I didn't have, well, she had a big mistake, so she had to be redone. I didn't have this, and I didn't have this or quite a bit of this. So in the end, I skipped around instead. This is obviously lots and lots and lots of color changes, which sometimes I struggle with project-wise. I plan on keeping it, though. It's not going in timeout or anything like that, but it'll be slow. My goal in 2025, it's kind of lofty, is 3/4 done. I am changing out here. I'm not doing the clown, so I'm going to put a typewriter up there. I believe in the Lola Crow Facebook page, there is a little chart of a typewriter, and then probably just books below that or something. I'm not sure. So I think maybe that's part of why I maybe hesitated with the shelves, because originally I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to do, is it Pennywise? Is that the name of the clown? I knew I didn't want to do that. So where I was going from there, I wasn't really sure. So we'll see. Okay, let me look at my list here. What's next? I have quite a bit of digital patterns, so that's why I have quite a bit I have to show you on here on the iPad. So these are my St. Patrick's gnomes. Obviously, I started this in March of 2023. And I am stitching, let's see, let's do it. This one. I'm 99% sure. Yeah, I am, because that's the hat. I really liked the kind of the plaid hat. So that's the one I chose right there. Same deal with it. No grounding circle, no background. But I really like the fabric I chose for this. I'd actually won this in a Friday night fight night on Bestitch Me. And it's actually an opal. I didn't plan on necessarily putting on an opal, but I saw this. And I was like, oh, that's a no-brainer. It's going on this. This is 18 count opal water nymph from Bestitch Me. My goal in 2024 was to complete the hat and the nose. Clearly didn't do that. So I looked at it, and my goal for 2025 is to try to get it halfway done, which, to be quite frank, is probably a little bit below the hat and the nose. So similar goals on that than that to last year. Like I said, this one really comes out only seasonally for some reason. I do like stitching on them. And what's funny is, you'd think I'm a big gnome person. I don't dislike them, but I've never thought of myself as a big gnome fan. I just happen to like these. I like how they're charted. They're very well charted for color, and I enjoy stitching them. So they're just going to be a little bit slower. So it is the way it is. No worries. I'm going to be crawling around on the floor getting all these afterwards. Oh boy. Alrighty, what's next? This one. This one here is Beach Girl in a Red Dress. It's an Etsy title. And this is, artwork is by Jennifer Camp, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember at the moment. Simple Wave Studio is the shop on Etsy. So that's what it looks like. And where am I? As you can see, this one is a smaller one. This is all of it. This one actually could probably be scrapbooked when it's done. I don't know. I don't know what the final size is going to be. Heavy, heavy confetti, as you can see. And this one, I wasn't sure if it would go in, and it mostly went into Pattern Keeper. There's a few places that it didn't pick up the symbols, some of the symbols I didn't like, but I can work on that as it comes along. My goal in 2024 was 2,000 stitches, because this is a lot of just block stitching. But then what I try to do is I try to go back and forth between the confetti and the block, because otherwise I'll either have one or the other left, and I won't want to do just one or the other. There is a mistake somewhere here, but I'm finagling it. It's full coverage. It's the shore. It's the, the horizon line. It'll be fine. I ended up getting 2,847, and my goal for 2025 is 3,000 stitches. So a modest goal on that one. I mean, I could spend 2025 stitching on here to get those 3,000 if I really wanted to. Alrighty. So that one will continue to come out this year. I do like that. All right, one of my piles is now done. We're moving on. Bring this pile over. I have 4 piles. Actually, you know what? I think I can reach it, so this way I can put my notes down here. What is next? Alrighty. I have a run of these because I started them. It'll be 2 years when I get to the month in this year. So we're starting to try to get these finished, but you're going to see a run of them. This is April's Daisy, and it's from Cottage Garden Samplings. And this is done on, what is this done on? 18 count light sea glass from To Die For Fabrics. I'll put this here so I'm not looking behind me. And my goal in 2024 was to get the words plus half the flowers. Unfortunately, what happened was I changed my mind in a lot of the words. So that might have been a case here. So as you can see, the words did not get done. Maybe that's half the flowers. No, probably not. So this one does have quite a bit of work left to do on it. But I am, for all of these, my goal is a finish. I'm going to try to get these finished in 2025. And when all 12 are finished, they will be part of a 12-part collection in the scrapbook. And I probably have about 4 months finished as it is now. Okay, the next one is May's Lily of the Valley, also cottage garden samplings. And this one is done on an 18 count Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. As you can see, if you're looking at the main ones and then what I use for fabric, I changed every single one of the fabrics. That does mean, especially some of the greens are different. So it may not look the same as what it looks in the chart, but I kind of went with whatever looked good on this. If there's something that you really want to know about, just let me know. My goal in 2025 was to get all the words and the border, which I did. And so now we just basically have this middle section for the most part, a couple of other stray stitches here. Every once in a while, like there I may do it, but sometimes she has some throwaway little designs and I'm not necessarily going to stitch them. I am, if you are new, more of a minimalist. So when a pattern is very, very packed, I'm not going to say it's a guarantee that I'm going to take things out, but I do often take things out and just kind of make it a little bit more minimalist. Okay, so the next one here is, ooh, I'm excited. This one's not going to get done this year, but we're going to get far. This is Spring Quaker from Leela's Studio. And I did significant changes on this one. So this one you can either look back on my videos or ask when it comes up again in rotation. I have 4 pieces that I have on a rotation of a week, 500 stitches if I can a week with them, and this is one of them. So it usually comes up at least once a month. But as you can see, I wasn't feeling for spring the brown shades. I really wanted to to signify new growth in spring. And so I ended up with lots of shades of green. And as a result, some of the other colors, for example, like the bunny, those got charted in different colors because I wanted them to show up here on this. This is 18 count rose hips, I believe. Yes, from Under the Sea Fabrics. And my goal in 2024 was to have 2 full sides done as well as the inner border. Now, as you can see, I didn't finish the inner border. I'm not really a big fan of stitching it, so I kind of don't do it very often. I'm doing the X's. I'm not doing there is a option to do specialty stitch there. I chose to just do the X's. But as you can see, I have 3.5 borders done. So my goal for 2025 is to get the entire 4 sides done on the outside and half of the inside done. If I was just focusing on this, yes, I could probably finish this year. But I think Summer Quaker is closer, so I believe I'm going to focus on that one to a finish, and then this one can be a 2026 finish. So we'll see. You'll see that coming up soon. Alrighty, next. Oh, one more on this page before I change. Where did it go? Oh, it went all the way up for some reason. Here we go. This one is called Dandelions, and it is from Owl Forest Embroidery. And I did change the fabric choice. It's beautiful here. And when I look at it, if I was to stitch it again, I probably would maybe try it on the green. I did want the white to pop a little bit more. And I struggled with fabric. And who knows, this may have not been the best final choice, but I like it. I tried it 3 different times on 3 different fabrics. And I finally went with, I'm just going to do this right here. This is 18 count Twilight Mist from To Die For Fabrics. I am not using the Owl Forest threads, so in some cases I am changing because some of their choices as DMC alternatives for their thread is not my favorite. So this color right here that you see is a change, but I really like how, do you see how that white dandelion pops? I really like that. And then when all the other colors go in, There'll be more yellows. And I think the greens are going to look nice. So I think it's going to look nice in the end. It's just got a different vibe than the original. But the original is beautiful. And if you did choose to do it on a green similar to that, I think it would look gorgeous. And that was, when was that? May of 2023. Okay, next page. This is my only, I started this in June, and it's just because I just never seem to pull it out. It's small. It probably gets lost in the shuffle, to be honest with you. And I didn't actually take it out of the bag because I was afraid I'd lose it. It's my only Mill Hill. And this is Evergreen's, no, not Evergreen. Oh, actually, it's Evergreen Sleigh. It is. So there's the multiple, excuse me, sleigh rides. And this one's the Evergreen Sleigh. And there he is. There's my little guy. And this is as far as I've gotten. I haven't quite gotten done with all of the threads. This is the first time I'm using perforated paper. Something new. I don't hate it. I don't have a thought one way or the other on it. It does call for 3 threads. So I'm getting used to using that, my needle falling through, and the 3 threads. So it's going a little slow. I'm also not a big fan. I have a hard time reading the charted chart because it's small and there's lines all over the place for the back stitch. So it goes slow in that reason too. My goal was to try to get this finished last year, but like I said, it just didn't come out. So I'm going to try for a finish this year and we'll see what happens. Oops. Let me make sure I grab that too so I don't have it. I'm going to take just a quick sip of water. I didn't even bother with tea during this video because I figured it would be long and the tea would be long cold. Okay, what's next? June's Honeysuckle Cottage Garden again. And this one is 18 count ice crystals from Be Stitch Me. So that's what it looks like. 2024 goal was the complete border plus the words. Obviously that didn't happen. I did do some heavy changes on this. I really wasn't loving the bees. So I recharted and I had to do a lot of counting and charting to make sure this would come all the way across. I'm not even 100% sure. I might have to do something there. I might do the 1B in the very final border there. I'm not sure. As a result, I think I'm doing some words so that I can bring this border up a bit. And then I did pull out letters. So that's why, and I recharted the words to be the same color, I think, as this. So there was a lot of kind of finagling with that piece. Whether or not that one will get a finish this year, we'll see on that. I'm going to try my hardest, though. Okay, next one. I do have the paper copy of this, so I can show you, but I forgot to take it out. This is Summer Quaker by Leela Studio, and that's what it looks like. And my goal for 2024 was the 3 outer edges plus the inner border. Well, as you can see, okay, except for a half stitched crab over here on this side, and then crabs that need eyeballs. Other than that, the entire 4 borders are done. As well as I did the inside seaweed border, and I've actually started the inside. So my goal for this one in 2025 is a finish. Oh, I'm excited to try to get that done. I know, and I'm perfectly aware that there's a lot of full coverage here. Excuse me, but I'm going to give it my best shot. This is 18 count Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I am not stitching the clouds. I purposely chose this fabric so that when that part is stitched, it actually gives kind of like wispy cloud feel. And I wanted that instead of like stitched clouds, to be honest with you. Oh, I'm going to have to find a spot to like put these somewhere else. Okay, next. The next one here was that didn't get much work this year, actually, in the end. I wanted to do some temperature charts, but I'm doing them a little different. This is from Zara. I want to say X Stitch. I'm not sure. I can see the word Zara there. They're on Etsy. And I'm actually stitching this twice concurrently. I have a habit of doing that at times. I am stitching my birth year, the city where I was born, and Mo's birth year, the city he was born. He's a year older than me, and we were both born in the same city. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to have these kind of side by side, maybe somehow or other scrapbooked and we'll see the differences in the temperatures from year to year. So that's what they are. There's not much. I've gotten through January. Each one of these symbols is a day. I'm probably partway through. I don't even know. I'm into February at this point. And I can't even tell you why these sat, but they did. 18 count. Oh gosh, it doesn't say. I don't know. It's an 18 count gray. I want to say it's a to dye for fabric, so you probably wouldn't be able to get it anyway. Exact same fabric for obvious reasons, so that they'd look alike. My goal was to get halfway through the year. Clearly, I didn't hit that. So my goal is to try this year to get halfway through the year, and we'll see what happens. Excuse me. I have a tickle in my throat now. All that talking. All right, I'm going to start putting them that way now. Okay, next one is July's Delphinium Cottage Garden Samplings. That's what it'll look like. Oh, I haven't cut this one down yet. This is done on 18 count. It says it right here. Sendra Blue from To Dye For Fabrics. And my goal was to finish the flower section. Again, didn't quite do that. I think though, instead, I think I did some of this. So I went off book. And I don't know if you can tell, I had to do some frogging. So I took out the letters and I'm going to choose, I'll choose either one of the pinks or the purples from the flowers to highlight for the words. We'll see what I think looks better on the blue. So that's what that one is. Goal for 2025 is to try to get a finish. So we'll see. Alrighty. The next one here is, oh, did I skip over one of my full coverages? I did skip over a full coverage, so let me go back for a minute. That's what happens when they're on two different tables here. This one, we're still in 2022, but this one is called Bottled Beauty, and it was Cross Stitch for Everyone, I believe, is who it is charted by, and it's the artwork's by Fun Digital. And this is where this one was. So we got some good work. This is actually one of the few that I am filling in a bit more rather than really traveling. My goal was to put in 2,000 stitches, and I put in 6,693. But this one is going on vacation this year. I do love the different colors and the look of it, but I think I have enough other ones that I decided I wanted to focus on them instead. That one will definitely come out again. I don't foresee that one going completely away forever. Okay, next one. Where's my full coverage? There it is. Yeah, this one is Limoncello. It is charted by Stitches So Beautiful. I had discovered Stitches So Beautiful at this point, which I absolutely love their charts. And the artwork is by Lucy McGee. And this one's a huge one. This is a huge, huge, huge piece of fabric here. So look at this. As you can see, I can't even show you all. And this is where I am. I have struggled with this one. My goal was 1,500. There's a ton of confetti, and I was really struggling with it with the paper. I ended up getting 3,953 last year once it was able to go in Pattern Keeper. But I am putting this one away for this year. Of the ones being put away, this one is the one that I will probably reevaluate. Do I want to continue putting work into it? I may try in 2026 a session or two to see if I'm enjoying it. And if I'm not, then this one may go away. So of the pieces that are going on vacation, this is probably one of the closest to maybe not coming back. I am just really struggling with the confetti, and I'm just not enjoying it as much as I thought I would. So we'll see. Alrighty, some more cottage garden here. August Poppies is what this one looks like. And this is done in an 18 count amber waves. My goal in 2024 was the words and the bottom. And as you can see, I did hit that goal. And I even got some more of the flowers. So I am pretty sure, because I think I even have all of the stitch stuff down here done. I'm pretty sure this one could easily be a 2024 2025 finish. They may all be slated to be finishes, but this one is completely possible, doable, I should say, and I'd be shocked if it wasn't finished, to be honest with you. Alrighty. The next one is Summer Signs, and this one is from Twin Peak Primitives. And I have made good progress on this one. This is done on an 18 count caramel macchiato from Fabrics by Stephanie. And my goal was to get through the second tier, and I'm recharting the word here to say Delaware. I decided I'm going to wait and rechart at the very end. I'm going to fill in the section so that I can continue below, but I want to wait until the end to do that. And then once I have that in, it'll be fill-in. It'll be easy. I kind of stopped doing this because there are some mistakes in these bath huts. So for the longest time, I did over here instead. And I have that section completely done. And I had even started this low tier here. But then I did come back and start. So there's not much to do here. My goal for 2025 is actually to finish, except for the center rechart. So if I can get everything done and then just worry about that in 26. It's a little lofty, to be honest with you, but I'll give it a go. There's a lot of little pieces to this one, so it's a good one for challenges because, you know, if you need a little piece of this or that, it works nicely for that. Okay, moving on to August of that year, we have Laszlo Code. This is charted by Stitches So Beautiful, and the artwork is actually by Laszlo Code. I think this was number 1. She has probably about 20 or so of his, give or take, pieces on her site, charted, and they're very whimsical and funny. And if you look really closely, sometimes there's like animals like a pig in the tree, or just different things that you wouldn't expect. So again, huge piece. I'm going to show you just where I am over here. That's all that's done so far. I do really like stitching this one. I enjoy it quite a bit. My goal was 3,000 stitches for 2024. I ended up getting, I had recounted incorrectly, but I want to say about 9,000 stitches. So my goal for next year is 10,000 stitches on this one. And I do think that's doable. I mean, obviously we have confetti here, but then we also have sky over here. And then we do get into some trees, but I think with Pattern Keeper, I think it could work. And there are some houses there. And while some of the houses have confetti, they have blocks as well. So it's completely doable in that sense. All righty. Moving on. This next one here is called Winter Sampler from Crocetta Go-Go. And I started this in September of 2023. Sampler September, probably. And I didn't get very far. And last year, I'm not sure I did much of any, to be honest with you. My goal was to get everything above the house done. So I didn't have a big goal. I kind of knew I was struggling. And I think part of it is I'm not a huge fan of doing the border. And I just kind of stopped. I was concerned the white wouldn't show up, but it does. It looks nice. So when I was looking at this, I was thinking 1/3 done, but then this morning when I was looking at the piece, I'm wondering if 1/3, well, that's probably a little bit more. It's not half, but what if I just stitch to there? And I don't know what that means in terms of the border. I wonder if I can just finish it right there as like a little swishy flare and just do that. And then there's some really cute parts down here that I could stitch on their own at a later date. Like I love that little thing with the strawberries. Wouldn't that be cool on its own? Or the little squirrel. Those squirrels with little strawberry in between them. So I'm thinking, looking at it, that this may, if I can get to here, I would call it done. Am I doing that by 2025, the end? Probably not. Oh, what fabric is this? Oh, 18 count Harbor Haze from Dying for Cross Stitch. It is a beautiful, beautiful gray, but it's on the blue tones of a gray. And the white, as you can see, shows up really nicely if you're looking for a gray that shows the white. And Kathy is fantastic over there at Dying for Cross Stitch. All right. So that one is getting adjustments on the fly. And Probably will not be finished next year, even my, abbreviated kind of chart, but it'll be well on the way, hopefully. Alrighty, September's Morning Glory is next from Cottage Garden. And this one is done on 18 count Friendship Green. My goal in 2024 was to get the flowers done. Didn't do it. And obviously the goal is for a finish. This one will be a stretch. Can be done, but it will be a stretch. So we will see. I ended up having to pull a lot of the words, which also pushed me back a bit, because I decided to just do the single color as opposed to what it was charted. So a few little hiccups with that one, but we'll see what happens with it. Next. This one is Librarian's Sampler, and it is from Stone Street Stitch. It was also started in September as kind of a sampler September sampler, whatever it's called. Now, my goal in 2024 was to finish this, and I did not. But I've done a fairly extensive color change of this. Quite a bit of the colors are changed. And I had stitched all of the roof when I didn't like it and had to pull all of that out, and that took a long time. In fact, mine looks different. Even if you look here, I had all of the windows, let's see if I can make it better, stitched and everything, and I had to pull all of that out. I'm modeling this after the Mark Twain house in West Hartford, Connecticut, and so I needed to change it. And at this point, except for the inside, the windows and the door, which I have to see what the original door is at Mark Twain, not Mark Twain, Noah Webster. Then I just have flowers and then the border. If I had to do it again, I might not do some of the border pieces. I probably would have done some, but maybe not all. So it is the way it is. 18 count Darling David from Those Missing Stitches. I absolutely love what I did for colors, bringing in the blue and changing some of the shades. And I'm looking at a 2025 finish on that. I think that's completely doable. Alrighty. Moving on to October of 2023. Now I'm just, once they're in the bag's just thrown on the floor. October's Marigold. This is the last of the series. November and December are finished because they were started a year before the rest of them, the year previous. What was my goal in 2024? Everything but the flowers. I'm pretty good on that, actually, because the flowers are the border. There is no other border here. I did decide not to change the letters. It is charted as the orange and the black, and I just didn't have it in me to frog anymore. So I am going to keep that as is. So for the most part, I have the words and a few more flowers to do. So the goal of a finish is doable on this one. And this is done on 18 count Ice Queen from Bestitch Me, which is also a really lovely gray. And you will see that in the next piece. Sometimes when I have a certain fabric color out, you'll see it kind of back to back just because it works for multiple projects if we're in a certain season. Next, this one is, I think it's Happy Halloween Pumpkin Party. It is from Jardin Privé. And I am changing up the look because I pulled out that 18 count Ice Queen again from Bestitch Me and went with the gray. There's way more here than you think for stitching. So at this point, I mainly have the 3 pumpkins, and there is the words Pumpkin Party, but I don't think I'm going to put that in. My goal was to get this 2/3 done last year. Obviously didn't quite get that. I'm going to aim and try for a finish on this one. It may or may not happen. If I can get 2 of the 3 pumpkins done and just have 1 pumpkin left in 2020 for 2026, I'd be pleased with that. I would accept that. That would be a good outcome. All right, next. This next one here is Autumn Still Life, and it is from Owl Forest Embroidery. And in October, if you're new, I do a pumpkin birthday stitch along because my birthday is in October. So it's basically anything with a pumpkin, pumpkin color, pumpkin adjacent, you name it, it works. So I do have lots of pumpkin pieces now because I've done this for a few years straight. This is 18 count Ocean Air from Fox and Rabbit. And again, I'm not using the Forest colors, but I am choosing my own. So we do have a variegated here in this right here that is my own choice. And then I know there's some more that I've pulled out. I don't think I've used them yet, but I have changed quite a bit of the DMC alternatives on this one. So it doesn't look quite exactly as the original chart, but along the same line and themes. It's all the fall and autumn colors, which I really do like. So I enjoy that. What's the goal on that? My goal was to get half done. Because I changed a lot of colors, that didn't happen. We're going to aim for 3/4 done in 2025. We'll revisit that next year's video. Alrighty, Grateful Quaker is next. This is from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. And I am pretty sure I changed every single one of the charted colors on this one. There's only like 5, so it's not like that was a real big deal. I had a lofty goal of finishing this in 2024. I obviously did not. I did choose a variegated of my own choice for Squirrel, but everything else will be the other colors that I've charted. So my goal this year is to get a finish if I can. This is 18 count Poetic Pony Boy from Those Missing Stitches. And I thought that was a really nice vibe for this piece, and kind of that Thanksgiving-ish sort of vibe. So we'll see. I enjoy stitching that when it comes out. It just sometimes doesn't come out. This next one I've struggled with quite a bit. And you did not see it for quite a bit of 2024. I have both these charts actually. They're the twisted, there's Twisted Rainbow Sampler and Twisted, and then the other one might be just Rainbow Sampler. I'm not sure. They are from, you're all going to yell at me. I don't think it, does it say? Hold on a second. Northern Expressions Needle Art. I would like to do both of them, just X's, and I started with the dark one. So I struggled with fabric colors, and I don't even know what this one's called. I started it on this because I wasn't sure I wanted it on the dark. And as I wanted to see what all the colors look like. As I got all the way over, I'm like, I don't know if I like it. So I restarted it. This is a Raven Black, I think, from To Dye For Fabrics. And this is as far as I got. And then I decided, I don't know if I like it on the black. What was funny was this was sitting out somewhere, and I looked at it, and I actually preferred the gray after in the end to the black. So I don't know what I'm doing with this one. This one may be put aside this year, to be honest with you, and figured out which direction I want to go. I thought about doing, I didn't know if I wanted the stark black and white. I was thinking of doing dark gray and light gray, which is why I originally started with that. So I have to sit with that one, and I have to think about it. I love watching people stitch this, and I think I need to put it in Pattern Keeper. That's the other thing that I think it would go faster. So if you've stitched it in something besides black, what do you think? Did you like it? And what do you think of what I'm doing? All right, we're almost done at this table. This one here is Blue Rhapsody, and it is from Rosewood Manor. This is done on an 18 count Darling David. It was started in December of 2023. And I chose 2 different DMCs because I'm not using the Weeks Dye Works that was charted in. My goal was to try to get it a third done by the end of this year. And I don't think I did that. If I had gotten the alphabet done and all the way across here, I might have. I did last time I stitched it come here. So that's the edge. And you can see it's not huge. So my goal this year potentially is to try to get it half done. We will see. I don't know if that's doable. I may, if I get just to the third, I'll be happy with that. And then getting any more than that would be a bonus. So we'll see. And my last piece of 2023, before we go into 2024, and that's where half of my projects are, was Christmas Band Sampler from Lost in Stitches Designs. And I just really enjoy this one quite a bit. It actually looks bigger there than when you're stitching it. The outline is beautiful, and I didn't go into it starting to do the whole outer border, but it seemed like that's what I was doing. This is 18 count. Oops, let me switch pages. Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. My goal in 2024 was to get it half done. At the time, though, I didn't think I was doing it like this. I think I probably thought I'd be coming down. This is probably not half, but I really feel like once the outer border is done, the inside, as you can see, there's lots of fun stitching in there with the different bands, but it's small. So I have it as a finish, potentially. I'm not sure if that will happen. We'll see. That is the goal. So that takes me completely through 2023. We are now starting 2024, and that legitimately is half of my projects were still held over before last year, and then half my projects left are all from last year. So let's dig right in. Moving along. My new year, new start of 2024 was Fish and Ships from Long Dog Samplers. And now none of these had previous goals. These are just what my goals for the end of this year are. This is stitched on an 18 count blue that was part of a pack from Dying for Cross Stitch, so it doesn't have a name. It was a blue-green pack. I'm stitching it with white DMC Floche and sulky white for backstitch. And as you can see, I have rounded a third corner. So my 2025 goal on this is a finish. And I am so excited. I think I could do it. This is one of those 4 pieces that comes out on a monthly basis. And if I haven't gotten it done before June, in June it will come out and be the daily focus. I'm going to start throwing those over there. For 100 stitches a day. And I really don't think it would take me longer than that then to get it done, which is exciting. Okay, in January, I also started Peace on Earth from Cottage Garden Samplings. And this one sat because in my mind, I didn't stitch, once I started this, it didn't get a lot of work this past year because I think I know I made a mistake, so I had to restitch, and that kind of, or I had to fudge or something. So that put a little bit of a halt on the pattern. But then also, I don't know, for some reason I thought I wasn't loving the colors, but when I looked at this, I think it'll work. This is 18 count eucalyptus from Fox and Rabbit. And I think the other thing is I'm not sure I felt that the DMC colors with the reds spoke to me. So I think I might have to rechart that a little bit. And that might have also been. Part of me almost put this one on vacation this year and put it in the UFO pile, kind of an unfinished object. But when I pulled it out to look at it, I reevaluated. I also thought what I might do is stitch this section right here that says Peace on Earth, the side and the house, and have that a nice little skinny. And then wouldn't this be awesome on its own? And then these 2 flowers on their own be a cute little ornament. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and if I need to, I'll pull out that green because that would be with the cardinal. I might stitch all the way down that section and see if that feels complete. And if it does, then I will call that one complete and then, keep the pattern and do some of that other stuff at a later date. Because I really do like the cardinal and I like those flowers. And I need to know in my mind if it needs to all be stitched together or separate. We'll see. And I think the goal there was to try to get that house part done and then make the reevaluation for 2026 on that one. So we'll see on that. All right, next. This next piece here is the U.S. Quaker flag. I started this one for a stitch along at the end of January last year. It is charted by Viv Stirs. And she has pretty much every country flag you can think of. And if she doesn't have it, she will chart it for you if you request it. This is 18 count Brave Boromir. So this is the full piece. And it's probably going to go quite a ways over. Let me fold it over because I'm nowhere near there. This is where I am. This is from Those Missing Stitches, Brave Boromir. Fantastic color. My goal is to try to get this half done. The positive part is once the stars are done, and there's this next one right here, and then here is where they go. All the other squares are just like this one, where there's no fill-in. So the star squares obviously have the Quaker that you stitch in the white, and then you fill in with the blue. but the stripes are just Quakers in red and white. So those will go much faster once I get to that point. I do like using the blue fill-in for zooms, so that will also work for me. So halfway done on that one by the end of 2025. Okay, next, Ruskin's Penguins from Modern Folk Embroidery. And this one here is done an 18 count Mermaid's Dream from To Die For Fabrics. And my goal here for the end of the year is to try to get the entire outer border done. I want to do everything and then really concentrate on the penguins last. I think that's going to be cute. I may, if I get tired of some of the border, I may do the words and stuff too. But I really like how it pops on this deep, deep color. So I was really pleased with that one in the end. So outer border and anything extra from there will just be nice little extra gravy kind of thing. Okay, so this next one here has been it's my snow stitch this month. And it's also was going to get weekly focus anyway because this month is Dragon Month for me. This is Celtic Dragon from 2x2 Stitch Art. And I am stitching the entire dragon. And then I'm either going to do this kind of moon part or I'm going to do the border, obviously shrinking it down to be across the dragon. I'm leaning towards this, although this is a beautiful design. So we'll see. I don't plan on doing both. And here we are. Let me fold this over a bit. This is 18 count Be Stitch Me from Phoenix from Be Stitch Me. 18 count Phoenix from Be Stitch Me. And it is stitched to represent Zayden's Dragon Sigale in 4th wing. So that's why she's blue. This will continue to come out for the month of January. I'd like to have some weekly work on it. It's had a little bit from snow stitching because we had snow yesterday. And it'll get some more time before you see it. When would you see it again? You would see it next week, next Friday. This one here doesn't have a lot. This is my first kit besides the little Mill Hill. This is Red Mailbox from Luca S. And it came as a full kit. So I'm using everything in the kit. Now, I'm having trouble with this one because of reading they're giant pages, which is great because they're big, but then they're hard to navigate and read. So I haven't gotten much done on this. In fact, I don't even have a list of how many stitches I have on this one. My goal is to try this year to get 1,000 stitches. Now, newer Luca S kits have QR codes that you can scan and you can get the digital pattern that way. I reached out to Luca S and now I just have to show them the kit pieces opened plus this. And they said they would send me the digital pattern. So we'll see. I think getting those 1,000 stitches will be really easy. This is a 16 count. So this is my only non-18 count full coverage. But I'm using the kit fabric. So that's why I did that. All right, next. Shores of Hawthorne Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. I, long ago, when I thought I was stitching this, was going to do the whole thing. Then I had seen Megan from Georgia Girl Stitching, and she had recharted some of the squares for this design. And I asked if it was okay if I showed this because I was going to do it this way, and she was very generous and said yes. Now in the course of stitching it, I think I'm changing it up again. I think I'm going to stitch this centerpiece by itself at a later date, and I'm going to stitch 4 squares. These 2 definitely. And then I don't know if it'll be these 2. Probably, because I think that would all go nicely with the theme. So, since I'm nowhere near starting in that part, it didn't matter. I'm still only on the first square. My goal on this is to try to, where am I? Get the first and second blocks done. So the second block next to this, excuse me for that noise there as I pulled out my chart. The next one is this piece here, and that's a lot of stitching. So we'll see. We'll see if that's doable. This is 18 count pale ale. I was inspired by the called for, which, you know, again, doesn't happen often, but I ran with it. So that's where I am here. We have fill in to do, and the box is almost done. So and that's a lot of water fill in. So that should be pretty easy. We will see if I can get the 2 boxes done. I know there is a 4-year kind of leap year stitch along on this, and things were broken down, but I'm just kind of, so that you could get it done in 4 years, the entire. And I could certainly do that with my blocks, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to wing it as I want to do. This one here is the April Cottage from Cottage Garden Samplings. No, Country Cottage Needleworks, excuse me. I stitched 10 of the 12 of these several years ago, and I am at this point just trying to complete the series. I have long since learned that these repetitive series pieces I don't necessarily enjoy, but I enjoy the final outcome of these, of the other 10. So I have March and April to do. I haven't started March. I think that might be a February start. This is where I got in April. So I'd like to get this one finished at some point in 2025 so that, and I'd like to start and finish March in 25. I'd like to have them all done, and I can just rotate them out every month in 2026. So we'll see. But it was a valuable lesson for me, and I have since learned that things like that, where there's highly repetitive elements of the pieces, is not really for me. And you know what? It's all about growth and learning what is and is not for you. So that's good. Now we're into March of last year, and this is Spring Awakens from Summer House Stitchworks. And I am just stitching it monochromatically, which I adore stitching monochromatic, as you'll see. This is done in an 18 count Hush Pink from Dove Stitch, and I'm using DMC Floss 319. And this is slated for a finish this year. I have all 4 seasons. This is the first one I've done. And depending on when this one gets finished, I don't know which season I'll start next. If I will skip summer and go to autumn so that I can kind of aim for, you know, closer to an autumn finish at that point, or what I might do. I have no set time to get, I don't have a desire to have them all started at once. I'll stitch one and then go to another season after that. What is next? Okay. Carolyn's Balloons Spring. I have done autumn. I like season pieces. They're only 4. Sometimes they can also get too repetitive for me, so we'll see how I do. I've done autumn and winter, so I only have spring and summer left to do of these. This one is spring. It's from Jan Hicks Creates. And I am doing it in 18 count car wash from Fortnite Fabric. So of spring and summer, this one is closer to a finish. You can see, obviously, it still has a ways to go. I'd like to get this one approximately 2/3 done, whatever that means. So we'll see. These charts are small. I do have the paper charts for both of them, I believe. And I found as the series went on, the font got smaller. So I'm having a little trouble reading them. But, you know, we just roll with it. And for some reason, they did not copy well in my copier. So there are sections where it's blurry, and I don't know why. I'm not sure on that one. All right, next we have the Alice in Wonderland tree. This was started in also March. First, there was a stitch along, I think, but I don't know if I started it before or after the stitch along. I just hopped right on that train, though. This is from Tiny Modernist. I did Wizard of Oz and have finished it, which is what kind of influenced my fabric choice for this one, because I want them as part of a 2-part collection in the scrapbook. This is 18 count Opal Blue Ice from To Die For Fabrics. And my goal is to try to get through 3 tiers. 1, 2, 3. So I'm just in this tier right here. When 26, that would mean, I don't know, I may do 26 and then 27. There is a lot of color changes in them. So I adore Tiny Modernist pieces. I sometimes have to be in the right frame of mind to get them worked on. I'm going to do all the back stitch at the end, which is why he has no legs and the clock has no face. So this year, if I can get this done, and just if I hit a goal, it doesn't mean I'm putting it away. These projects are open to be done at any time, no matter how far or how much or how little has been done. The way I look at it is, if it gets a little bit more done, then that's just extra. And I'm okay with that. I like that. And if it doesn't get done, it's okay too. All right, so the next one is in the spring 2024 Just Cross Stitch magazine. And I am just trying to go to the page here. This one is called He Is Risen from Lucy Lowe Designs. And that's what it looks like right there. I am really, the full coverage pieces that Just Cross Stitch magazine seems to put in, I'm very much intrigued by them. And as you'll see, I have quite a few from the different parts of the magazine. I don't have this is probably one of my smallest starts of any piece. This is 18 count Spring Breeze from Mystic Fabrics. Isn't it a beaut? It's not going to show up. It's a beautiful, beautiful purple. It's looking a little bit bluer there than it is the purple. My goal on this one is to get it halfway done. I would like to change this probably. This one I had started with Megan of Georgia Girl Stitching, and she changed this to green, and I like that idea too. So otherwise I am keeping all of the other colors, I believe. Unless they don't, actually, no, it doesn't matter. It's full coverage. So it doesn't matter if what they look like on the purple because each of the colors will be next to each other. All right, the next one I have is a full coverage. So let me show you the picture. And this one is called The Love We Share. Again, heavily influenced by Dragons and Fourth Wing. This is charted by Stitches So Beautiful, and the artwork is by Sarah Kai Aquill. And this one reminded me of Violet. So, and I mean, that's closer to the size of Adarna when Adarna was small, but you know, it's not Adarna's color really. Anyway, that's what I have so far. Not a ton, but this was really only just started in April of last year, so I'm pleased. I got 6,939 stitches, and my goal is 10,000 stitches this year. And this one is my 100 a day pattern piece for this month. So that should get me 3,000 stitches just in this month. And then that's, you know, almost a third of the way. If I can get, you know, say 3,500 stitches in January, I'm a third of the way to the 10,000 stitch goal. So hopefully that would be the goal on that one. Okay, next one is also from the same magazine, the Spring 2024 Just Cross Stitch magazine. And a bunch of different people started this one. It's called Current Mood, and it is designed by Lee Fisher of Stitchy Fish Designs. Now, I chose to do it with primary colors. Everybody that I saw stitching this has a different plan on it, and it's so cool. Oh, we're stuck. There we go. And this one, I'm doing it on 18 count. Oh, I didn't write it down, but there is a tag. Unnamed, actually. It's from To Die for Fabrics, but it was an unnamed, so it's probably a one-off. And that's what I have. This one is slated for a finish this year. I mean, really, at this point, I have her to do. And then I'm not sure if I want to stitch, I think it's black. Where's the picture? This at the bottom, the grass, so to speak, is done in kind of like that black silhouette. But I might do all of the different colors and have it come up with that color from that section. So we'll see on that one. But I definitely think that one could be a finish. Now, you'll notice here there is two different colors. One is almost like a beige. I think I might do a gray. So most of it will be black, and then I think I might pick a gray that would work with that. I don't know if I do a light gray or a darker gray so that it's almost a straight deep silhouette. Kind of depends on what I think it looks like. We'll go from there. Alrighty, what's next? Oh yes, this next one here is from Cross Stitch the Earth from Emma Congdon. Cross Stitch for the Earth from Emma Congdon. I started this one in April last year for Earth Day. I thought that was really appropriate. And there's several in here I'd like to stitch, and this one right here is the one I chose. There is no title to these patterns, so I just call it Difference You Make. And I am right here on this one. This one is done on an 18 count fresh cut, the light version from Dying for Cross Stitch. And I would like to get it at least 2/3 done. There is a chance, outside chance, this one could be finished this year. So I'm going to leave that open as a possibility, but a minimum of 2/3 done I'd like. And I think that's doable. I am almost completely done. Well, this top section's done. I think there's a few things with the birds to be done, and then it's just down here. So that's exciting, because I think I could go do good on that one. And then this one's in kind of like a portfolio, so I'm just going to close that, and I'll just put the books separate for now. Alrighty. I think that's a doable one, and so we'll see what happens. Next, this one is Arabesque from Jan Hicks Creates. And this came out last, I don't know if it was at Market, probably, because I started this in May. And I just absolutely loved the look of it, the color of it. I'm stitching this with several other people, and they're doing completely different things than I am, and it's so cool. This one is open to so much interpretation. So that's as far as I am. That is the bottom of this last element, but it's a big one. So you can see. My goal is to try to get it at least halfway done. If I can get everything through here, I mean, and that's halfway. So I know it's a modest goal. Everything else is going to be extra and a plus on this one. I mean, I think the letters will go fairly fast, and down here will go fast, but some of these other elements are quite involved, and I'm not putting the pressure on myself to say, you know, finish or anything else along those lines. So I think halfway done with the option for more works really well on that one. All right, next, Wings of Change. This is from Silver Creek Samplers. So that's what it looks like. And let me show you where I am. I recently worked on this one. I wasn't sure about my fabric choice at the very beginning when I just had the flower in, but the more I do it, I do like it. I'm really pleased. This is 18 count bell bottom blues from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. So it's a beautiful blue, and I just love how this color pops against it. My goal for this year would be to get the butterfly and the words done. This is a huge section of stitching, and I don't want to stress myself over trying to say, yes, you'll get this one finished this year. This is a large butterfly. This is just a small section of the wing. So if I even just get either the butterfly or the words done and not the other, I would call that a win on this, because there's more stitching here than you think when you look at it. And so I want to be thoughtful in what I'm asking of myself. Okay. Put this one is in a bag, so it gets to be put back in the bag. One last pile. I'm going to bring this gently towards myself. So I had visions of all of these piles falling and just crying. All right, this next one, I don't have a lot done, although, yeah, well, it didn't start it till June of, oh yeah, that's the last one in this album, of last year. So it hasn't gotten a ton of work. This is called Dance at Nightfall, and it is charted by, I want to say, yep, it says it right there, Sunflower Stitches. And this artwork is actually by Rose Kahn. So Sunflower Stitches is one of the places you can find only a couple of pieces. At last time when I looked, when I bought this, there wasn't much Rose Kahn there. I know she is in a couple other places as well. If you go to her Instagram, Rose has said that she is a huge fan of ACOTAR, Court of Thorn and Roses. And so this is kind of her vision of fan art for Farah and Reese. And I have no idea if I'm saying that right. I read the books, I didn't listen to them. So I don't have a ton. There's a lot of block stitching, obviously. There's a lot of black and kind of the deeper blues and stuff. So I did get 2,813 stitches last year, and I am going to give myself a goal of 5,000 stitches on this one, because there is block. I mean, this whole section is just a row down of some colors. I think I could get that 5,000 probably in a month's focus. And then, so we will see if I do that, then anything extra, because I could easily probably get more than 100 a day, maybe 150. I'm not sure. And so if that's the case, I could get the 5,000 in the month. We'll see. Okay. I don't, for some reason, I have this one in, oh gosh, I need to get out of the albums here and I need this list instead. I don't have this one. I don't know why I didn't take a picture of it from the website. This is called Uniqueness of Others from Yasmin's Made with Love. And it doesn't show you the beautiful colors that come with that peacock. You'll see the start of it here. I decided, I wasn't sure what I was using this fabric for, and I decided this was a beautiful fabric for this piece. It's actually, the fabric is actually called Hello Beautiful, I believe. Where is it? Yes, from Mystic Fabrics. It's 18 count. And I just thought, you know, with the words, diversity is embracing the uniqueness of others, a fabric called Hello Beautiful, it just was made to be. I'm not stitching, I don't think the year or my initials. I think I'll just keep that open. And then obviously everything down here. My goal on this one for this year is to try to get the peacock done, which is much easier said than done, to be honest with you, because especially all of the kind of feathers section, I guess that was what I'll call them, there's multiple color changes on that. So it's going to take a little bit longer than it looks. So if I get all those done, then I would actually even be happy with that. And then if from there, the peacock body was 2026 and the 2027 finish, that's all right too. We'll see. All righty, what's next? Carolyn's Balloon Summer. Of my balloon pieces, this is the least amount done. I'm not a huge fan of and I usually love all of Jan's colors. I'm working with it though, because I think once everything else is done, it'll look really cool. Because look at that. Isn't that cool? She's got like little lobsters built into that one. This is done on 18 count Lady of the Lake by Fabrics by Stephanie. And actually when I see it here, I actually don't object to the color as much. There's something in person. And I think I had some counting errors. So this one, for obvious reasons just that I've just said, didn't get as much work as spring did. And I have a feeling I'll probably focus on spring when I pull out one of these, and then I'll just leave summer and do that one as the end. My goal though would be to try to get it halfway done, which means there's quite a bit to do. I find the bottom goes fairly quickly, but the balloons, they're beautifully done and charted. And when they're finished, they look fantastic with all the designs. But they are slower going because you have to really count. And like I said, the chart is a little bit small font-wise, these paper charts. So my eyes are not as young as they used to be. So, you know, there's that. This next piece I started in July, and page 39 is from the summer 2024 Just Cross Stitch magazine. That's what the cover looks like. And this one here, again, full coverage. I really just love those full coverages. Land That I Love. And it is designed by Barbie Lowe of Twisted Willow Designs. So that's what it'll look like in the end. And I don't have a ton done, but I have some. I don't have numbers for this one. My goal would be to try to get it halfway done. So we'll see. That is, you know, might be a bit of a stretch because it is a little bit slower and it is a paper. Although I think I was able to get it on markup without the symbols. It couldn't read the symbols. So if that's the case, then I can sort of work on it digitally, but sometimes it's a bit of a struggle. All right, next. This one here. Some of these I don't know what happened. And I don't, oh, there it is. I don't have all of them for some reason, picture-wise. This one's called Hello Summer from Erin Elizabeth Designs. Now, I am changing this. I actually don't want it to say Hello Summer. I just liked all the other parts of it. So I am condensing a bit. If you'll see here, I probably made the sun a little bit lighter, or not as far out, and then I brought the lighthouse in. So I will have to finagle the bottom a little bit, which is probably why it hasn't gotten any work. This is done on an 18 count Lotus from Bestitch Me. So again, it's that pale, pale purple, kind of a really lilac-y color. I thought these colors would look nice against that. And I mean, there's not much, this is the bottom, so it's not huge, and this will be the side, but there's work that has to be done. What I can I think what I need to do is finish this and then figure out what I put in there. I think it'll be just cute the way it is. A small little summer piece. I don't know if I could actually make that a small little ornament or if I would just put it in a scrapbook. We'll see. Or leaner. It could be a cute little leaner. That will be a decision when it's finally ever finished. My goal is to either try to finish it or if I'm not loving it, to get rid of it. And that's really one of the few that I'm doing that with this year. For the most part, I haven't, until we'll see what happens in 2025, but I'm feeling good about most of the pieces that I've decided to keep through. This one here is Yellow Submarine from Blackbird Designs. And I have done some color changes. Some you may not see because I've changed some of the colors in the submarine. I'm using some of my own variegated choices. And then I am going to introduce some bright purple in kind of homage to the album cover of Yellow Submarine. And this is where I am. I went again because I wanted to go with the brights and kind of do what the Beatles had done with their album. This is not quite the blue that theirs would be, but I saw it and I said, you know what? Let's go with it. Let's run with it. This is 18 count Dive In from Bestitch Me. And so you can see some of my colors are a little bit darker on the submarine. And I've had to change some of the colors because what they were kind of blended in with this blue because obviously it's a different called for fabric. I love stitching on this. It's more dense than I realize, so it's taking me longer than I thought it would be. I have a lofty goal of a finish. I don't suspect that will happen. In fact, I'm almost sure it won't. But I thought, you know, what the heck? Let's put it on there as the goal. You never know. If I can pull it out for enough challenges and things like that, then I might be able to, but I don't know. Okay, what's my next one? This is Lighthouse, and it is from the Fabulous House series from Cottage Garden Samplings. So I'm digging into yet another one of those series. And I'm not doing all of them, but I do like quite a few of them. So they'll be on the go for several years, I think. There I am. 18 count Compelling Conscious from Those Missing Stitches. I did a previous Cottage Garden summer. It was Summer at the Shore, I believe. And I also used Compelling Conscious and I loved it. So you can see there's a little bit of a difference there. But I'm really enjoying this. Halfway done. I think that's going to be a bit of a lofty goal because there's a lot of stitching in these. And these are bigger than the previous series I did. I want to say these are something like, I don't know if they're 8x8 squares on 18 count. Something like that. They're squares rather than rectangles. So there's quite a bit of stitching to them. I thought that was a cute one to put it in though. Alrighty, what am I at next? Oh, next one here. I do need to show you the digital version of this. This one is Mary Poppins from Lena Ova. And I am not stitching this outer border. Beautiful as it is, I really only wanted, and the inner border from that is actually kind of cute. So I'm really pleased with where I am with it. There's all the way around, there is a repetitive border, and then each of these squares, which I haven't done much yet, different ones. I only have the two. Each of the squares will have a border within that outer border. So you can see that one right there, that top, that's going all the way around. So I think it's going to tie it in nicely. So I really don't feel like I'm missing not having that big border. This is 18 count. Now I was saying Uranus, which is how we were taught at school. But I was listening to Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe when she was talking about her son's space piece, and I think she said Uranus. And I mean, her son knows everything space. So I Googled it because, you know, that's what happens when you're not sure. And it turns out it has been taught both ways. I think that the astronauts may say Uranus, as people in Google were chuckling. Neither one of those is fortunate ways of saying the planet name, but I will either say Uranus or Uranus, and it's basically the same planet name. But that's what it looks like. I am stitching it all completely in the one color. And right now, actually, I've been working on this one this weekend. This has been my 500 stitches for the focus this week. So my goal is to get this one halfway done. And the fact that I'm not doing that outer border gives me a shot to get that done. I don't have the whole entire outer border marked off yet. And I forgot to, when I started marking it off, check. So I'll never truly know when I'm halfway through what I'm stitching. This one's called Moonshine, and it is from Silver Creek Samplers. That's what it looks like. And I am using 18 count Devoted Dobbin, and that is from Those Missing Stitches. Again, a beautiful, beautiful gray. Lynn does some of the most beautiful grays out there, I think, in my opinion. So that's where I am. And my goal on this one is to get half done, whatever that means. I think that's very lofty because you could say either half is the moon and the girl, which is a ton of stitching, or if I come over and I start the words, which I might do just to see where I can get. I don't mind if this is what's left, to be honest. I've been, as you can see, trying to do a few of the kind of, I'll say, craters in the moon, and then it'll be all fill-in. So we'll see. I would say more realistically, a quarter to a third done for a finish would be the more realistic, but we'll see. We're going with the lofty goal of halfway done. All right, now we've moved into September here, and this is Sampler Seasons Autumn, and this is from Blueberry Ridge Designs. I only own the autumn, but I would like to do all 4 seasons. I know, all 4 season pieces. That's kind of a repetitive thing I've been saying. And this is where I am. I went a little wild with the fabric, to be honest with you. I saw that this was part of the Dragon box, I think, from Bestitch Me. And it's called Dragon Lair, I believe. 18 count Dragon's Lair from Bestitch Me. And then I'm using a variegated overdyed floss. And I really like it, actually. So I don't know what my plan is. Sometimes I do a similar color running through the seasons. I'm not going to on this series. All 4 of them will be standalone, their own colors. But I don't believe I will start another one until this one is done. Similar with the that spring one, that Spring Awakens. I won't start anymore in that series until spring is done. All right, next. This one was started in, there's a run of September starts here. This one is Sunflower Medley from Jan Hicks Creates. This came out in the August market, and I saw it, had to buy it, love it, love it, love it. It's probably one of my favorites right now of the Jan Hicks stitches I have. This is my 5th Jan Hicks on the go right now. And there we are. As you can see, it's not huge, but it's also pretty quick stitching. This is 18 count Ariel from Picture This Plus. And my goal is to finish this. And I think that's doable. I mean, I started this in September of 2024. And this is how much I got. Here you've got just all beautiful flowers and the greenery with the alphabet letters here and there. The hardest part will be filling in all of these squares, to be honest with you. So I am completely confident that I can get that one finished in 2025. And I do have some other flowers finished in my scrapbook. So I'd love to have either eventually a floral scrapbook or a floral section of the scrapbook. Right now, they're kind of set seasonally, throughout the year with the seasons and the holidays with 1 or 2 collections. But as I go along, that may change, as I get more pieces scrapbooked. This one here is Peacock Tree, and it is from Modern Folk Embroidery. And I started this one also in September. And this is 18 count Lovely Lizzie from Those Missing Stitches. And I'm stitching it on with a variegated floss. So I'm just doing it monochromatically. And I'm really pleased. This is from September. How much? September to now. So my goal is to get a finish on this. And I think that's completely doable. I mean, in 4 months' time I was able to get that, I think I could easily get a finish. And I'm looking forward to that. To being finished. I think I would scrapbook it. I really enjoy stitching that one, and I do look for challenges to pull that one out for, because I do like it quite a bit. All right, page 9 out of, it's the 9 and a quarter of a page, so we are just about there. The next one here is Halloween Quaker. Now we're starting with October starts, and I had a whole rush of those. This is from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. And I don't remember if I'm changing colors on this one or not. Most of Wendy's, I love her designs, but with the fabrics I choose, I generally have to change some of the flosses. I really have enjoyed stitching this one. It didn't come out at the end of the year. Just, I don't know, it was seasonal, but I don't necessarily feel the seasonal vibe, but for whatever reason it didn't. It's 18 count Monster Mash from Color and Cotton. So it's this really cool purple. And okay, so this one is 2/3 done is what my kind of realistic goal is. And I have a lofty goal of a finish. You're going to see there's going to be a run of some of these that I started at the end of last year. I'm putting as finishes. A lot of these are kind of the Halloweenish ones that will come out potentially stitched on the 13th of every month, which gave me that extra little spunk to say, let's finish some of these. So we'll see if it actually happens. This one is Halloween Kisses from Primrose Cottage. And I'm stitching on an 18 count unknown. This was just a scrap. And I wasn't sure when I just had the purple in, but I think once it's all in and it's cut down, I've made these leaners before, generally. One of them, the St. Patrick's one, isn't kind of a hanging ornament, but then there's a Christmas one that's a leaner. So I'll decide on this one which way, if I want to hang it as an ornament or just make it as a leaner. And my goal is to get this one finished. Those are pretty quick, but I did start it in October along with a bunch of other things. And then I put aside all of the Halloween. So it's not a surprise that I didn't finish it this season, but I am very confident I can get it finished by the end of next year. Next, we started Blackbird's Autumn, and this is from Robin Pickens. I am not stitching the top portion here or the bottom border here. I want to stitch, of these pieces, I like to stitch the bird and all of the kind of stuff, seasonal stuff that goes with it. So, having said that, let me fold this one down a little bit. I used the bottom corner of my fabric for some reason, because I wanted to start actually in the pumpkins, because I wasn't sure otherwise with it. So that's what I have so far. This is 18 count Sand Dollar from Be Stitch Me. And I am slating this one as a finish in 2025. We have another pumpkin, which is quite large, but everything else should be quick. So I think it's doable. Very much so. Alrighty, again in October, we started Slightly Spooky, and this is from Little Robin Designs. And I started October 31 right here. And I am actually stitching it in the 2 different colors. I thought it would be fun rather than just monochromatically, because that was my other option. And I'm actually stitching this on this kind of fun purple. This is an unnamed from To Die For fabric, so it would have been a one-off. And that's where I am. Not a ton done, but at the very least, I think I could get either the orange or the black done. Obviously, I probably would do the orange first. So I'm going to say halfway done, realistically, lofty goal of a finish. And we'll see. Some of those other ones will probably come out beforehand that I do want to get a finish on. So that's the only reason that one may not get finished. Now, this next one, this one's going to be several years. I have been waiting to stitch Autumn Dream here from Cottage Garden, and I decided that this October was the time to do it. It has a pumpkin, so it was part of my stitch along. I did like the colors that the original was in, so I kind of went along those lines, although this is a fairly modeled piece of fabric, actually. And I do like the colors because you have, you know, those colors are kind of with the bird and such. I think I should be all right, floss-wise, because it looks a lot darker on the screen than it is in person. So not a huge start, just right there. This is 18 count. It was a May 2024 Fabric of the Month from Dying for Cross Stitch. I don't know if Kathy keeps the kind of the recipe formulas for her when she doesn't name them. if you wanted to ask her if anything like that's available. Sometimes she does. I want to say Hidden Harbor, she hadn't had it in her store, but people did ask about it, and she reached out to me to ask me what kind of gray it was, and I think she was able to replicate it. So she might have the recipes for these. My goal is to get a third of the way done, and I think that's, I don't even know how realistic that is. There's a lot of stitches on these, and because I will be focusing Halloween-wise, pumpkin-wise, on a lot of those other smalls for finishes, this one may not come out as often. So I suspect that one probably will be hanging around to probably 2027 or 2028, if I'm going to be truly realistic with you. Not going to lie, right? We're just going for it. That's the way I think it will happen. All right, this next one here is Witch's Hollow. I started this one actually on my birthday, and it is from Autumn Lane Stitchery. I stitched Autumn Town a year or two ago. I think I finished it maybe in 23. And this is very reminiscent of that. I did not buy the box, so I had to wait till they released it this year to get the pattern. And which is fine because I wanted to buy it digital, so it worked out perfectly. This is 18 count genuine Jillian. I don't have a ton done, but that top section is completely full coverage. If you see here, all of the orange is not, which is why I chose that genuine Jillian, which is similar to Autumn Town. The green that's seen in that is not stitched, but I'm up here. I figure I'll get that done first, and then the rest of it will zip. So a third done, which my guess would be the top section, the full coverage section. If I can get the full coverage section done in 2025, then I don't necessarily think it would be a 2026 finish, but it would easily, I think, slide into a 2027 finish. But I think once I get that full, the full coverage part of it done, I think that would go a long way to getting it finished. Alrighty, next I have, where is this one? This is in the magazine here, the Just Cross Stitch special holiday issue from 2024. And I'm looking at the back with all the pictures. There it is. And it tells me that is invaluable. I love that. This one is Peaceful Path, and it is from Sunny Lofstrom of 3 Tiny Owls. Again, full coverage. Just a side note, the ecru and the white were mistakenly switched in the magazine, so there is a mistake in that if you're looking to stitch it. And here I am. This is just a scrap of fabric because it will be full coverage. And my goal is to get it 2/3 done. Lofty goal would be to get a finish, but I have a lot of finish goals this year, so I'm not 100% sure if this one will also be a finish goal. I won't be super sad if it's not. It'll just go till the following year. That's all. Easily could be a 26 finish. So, alrighty. This next one here was a freebie that I did at Thanksgiving. I want to say it's Tiny Modernist. If I'm 95% sure it's Tiny Modernist. I have done a few little small turkeys, and I thought it'd be fun to have like a little turkey collection of little either ornaments or leaners and things like that. I'm not going to stitch the word give thanks, and so I think every Thanksgiving or November I'd like to pull out like a little either freebie or a bought small turkey and stitch them. So this is the one I chose this year. So I started that in November, and this is what I've got. He's more stitching than you think. So, but I have him slated as a finish for this year. 18 count, and this is coffee hand dyed by me back in probably 2020, early 2020. I tried several batches of coffee tea dyed Ada, so now I'm just working my way through it. But I thought that color was perfect with all of the colors in this nice bright guy. So yeah, that'll be another turkey for my turkey tree. And that'll be small enough to be an ornament for sure. All right, next. Oh, I didn't take out the pattern on this one. Whoops. This one here is Santa's House, also part of the Fabulous House series from Cottage Garden this year, or this previous year. There'll be a new series starting, I think, in June, she said. And I started this one in November, and this was my last of my November starts. This is where I got. This is 18 count Frozen Lake from Bestitch Me. I wanted something bluish and I wanted something that the white would show up in. It pops more in person. For some reason, it doesn't show as bright white in the camera, but in person, you can really see it nicely. This one has a lot of changing of colors and switches of things that I'm struggling with a little bit, more so than the lighthouse. So my goal is to maybe get this one 3/4 done. I don't necessarily think I could get this one finished this year. If I'm just being realistic and I know myself, I think it would be quite a stretch for me to get that one finished, to be honest with you. So we'll see. I'll try, but I suspect I won't get it finished this year. And we are almost done here. This next piece is digital. The last few are digital. This one here, these next two pieces, I'm doing kind of color experiments. So I'm stitching them twice, which we have to take into account when we talk about my goals. This one is called Spirit of Christmas and is from Textile Crafts. And so this first way I'm stitching it is I'm using white opal, 18 count, and that's where I am right now. And I'm using the same variegated floss for both color fabrics. And then we can have a true kind of what it looks like experiment when it's done. And this one here is 18 count honey from Bestitch Me. Whoops. So if we go side by side, this is what the two look like next to each other. One has got a more old-timey feel and one is more of a bright and modern feel. So that's what they look like. So there's that one. And then I have it in the same, I have one Christmas project bag. So I have it in the same bag. Whoops. Nope, that's not what I want. This one here, I think is called Cozy Christmas. Cozy Christmas Cottage from Modern Folk Embroidery. And that right there, I'm stitching it not in red, but in green. I kind of liked the idea of the green, the trees, and I don't know. There was something about it that said green to me. It's getting a little brighter now. We're 2 hours in here, so the white's really kind of washing out. Same 18 count white opal Ada. And this one is also being done on 18 count honey from Bestitch Me. So same green floss. Let me do it this way. So that might, yeah, there we go. That doesn't show as much brightness. So you can see the green against the white versus against the honey. On this one, I am going for kind of a lofty goal of finishing this one. I won't finish, and when I say this one, I mean both the white and the honey. I don't see myself being able to do both the Spirit of Christmas and this one as a finish. This one's smaller, so I'm going to go as this one as a finish this year. And I can just leave this stuff right here. Then the other one, the Spirit of Christmas, we can finish it 2026. All right, the very last start I had in 2024 was in December. This came out from Stitches So Beautiful, and the artwork is by Adney L Studio. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. These came out, there was a series of 3. I loved this one. And so this is the Steampunk Fairy, one of 3. And I went with the regular size. I know they do have minis if you like it. And I almost bought the mini, but for some reason, I said, nope, I want the regular size. So this was just started in December. As you can see, I did well. I got 4,741 stitches because I stitched it every day in the month of December, I think, or close to every day. And my goal for next year is 5,000 stitches, which I think is totally doable. I found this one extremely enjoyable. And as you can see, we're almost at the edge. You can see where I hold it in my hands. And it's folded over. That's probably the edge. So we're very close. But I got tired of grays and I went and started to stitch some of that window. So that's that. And that's it. Through 2024, that is 86 projects. I am counting Cozy Christmas Cottage and Spirit of Christmas as one because I'm stitching them exactly at the same time. So 86 projects. I think for some reason the Temperature Quakers I counted as 2. I'm just keeping it like that. Technically, I'm not getting into technicalities. And then in January, I have started 4 pieces so far. If you've watched my last Friday's video and or you watch this one this Friday, you will see all 4. 3 of the 4 you will see this Friday. One of them I don't think is coming out this week, but you can see it from last week. But I chose not to show those because they are on my most current videos, so you can see them that way. End of 2024, there's 6 projects, 6 WIPs that I took out of rotation and I took completely out. I may or may not restart them. I'm not 100% sure, but I did not like my choice of fabric mostly on those 6 pieces. So I took them out. And because I'm not sure they will come back in rotation, I didn't bother showing you them. So statistics. In the end of this year through 2024, I have 86 projects. I've started 4 since, so I have 90 WIPs at the current moment. In 2024, I had 64 starts and I had 43 finishes, which seems pretty even. I've been able to go back. I've done WIP parades from 2021 all the way up through here, 2024. So I have 4 different parades I've done. I had a lot less projects back on my 2021 video. I think I had 36. But in 21, I had 64 starts and 40 finishes. 22 was my outlier. I had 86 starts and 67 finishes. 23, I had 69 starts and 35 finishes. And then 2024, 64 starts and 43. So out of the 3 of the last 4 years, I've started somewhere in the 60s. And I've finished generally in the 40s, close to the 40s. 2023 was my least number of finishes. 22, I think I did a lot of smalls, which is why I have such a high number. So I am super excited. I have already jumped into January stitching and I am loving it. I'm loving the challenges I'm loving the challenges and I'm loving Pattern Keeper. They have really amped up the game for what I get done stitching and I'm loving it. And I hope you are enjoying my stitching as well. If you have any questions about any of this entire mess that's here on the floor right now, I'll be crawling around the floor for like an hour trying to pick all this up. Let me know. Like I said, if I can get things in the description box, if I can fit it all in, I will. If I can't, I'm not going to do part of it. I'll just tell you I couldn't do it. And if you have a question, feel free to ask. But like I said, I talk about my projects quite a bit during my weekly videos, so you'll get a lot more detail that way if you are new. And if you are new and you stayed till the end, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking the time. And if you did one of those start and finish stitches, I would love to see how much progress you got in the 2 hours it took to do this video. All right, so I guess that's about it. I am super excited about next Friday's video and all of the stitching that may or may not get done. I spent a lot of time prepping for this WIP parade, so that was time taken away from stitching, but that's okay. I loved doing this and I loved making my notes. And what's beautiful is I will reference these all year long for the goals as well as, you know, information. And then it makes making next year's WIP parade notes very easy because I start with these and then I use the notebook for the current year. So very, very easy. Perfect. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you got lots of stitching in or did whatever you wanted to do during this WIP parade, and I will see you on Friday. Bye.